Before we begin, if you are here to transform how you move through the world, to shift from being a piece on the board to the hand that guides them, make sure you do one thing right now. Subscribe. Hit that button and ring the bell. What we are discussing is not taught in schools. It is a hidden curriculum. By subscribing, you are ensuring you do not miss a single piece of this puzzle. This knowledge is your leverage. Now let us begin. You walk through life and you feel it. A silent division running beneath the surface of every interaction, every institution. The world is not split between good and evil or rich and poor. It is divided into two far more fundamental categories, the players and the pieces. You have felt this tension your entire life. You enter a room and you feel nearly invisible, a ghost in the machine. And you see others. They command attention without uttering a single word. They absorb the energy in the space. They are the ones who receive the opportunities, who are granted respect as a default, who hold the quiet power that makes things happen. And you? You work harder. You are kinder. You strive for undeniable competence. Yet, you are overlooked. You are passed by. You are left with that aching question, why is my talent not enough? Why is my genuine effort not rewarded? Here is the unvarnished truth, the one that polite society, with its comforting myths about fairness, will never tell you. Power is not a sentiment. It does not care about your good intentions. It operates on a single, ruthless currency, leverage. You have been attempting to connect with powerful individuals by offering friendship, by being likable. But a person of significant influence does not need more friends. What they require are assets. They need mirrors that reflect their desired image. They need protection for their status and their time. If your ambition is to enter the circles where the true contours of the future are drawn, you must first execute a critical internal shift. You must eliminate the part of you that craves external validation. You must cease asking for permission to exist in those spaces. Over 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince. It was not a guide for the wicked, but rather a clear-eyed manual for the reality of human systems. He understood that beneath the layers of culture and morality, human nature is fundamentally driven by self-interest, by fear, and by vanity. To ignore these engines is to guarantee you will remain a pawn. To study and master them is to become the architect of the game itself. In our time together today, we will dismantle the well-meaning lies you have been told about networking and connection. We will explore, in profound depth, what can be understood as Machiavelli's 13 laws of strategic connection. These are not simple tips or polite suggestions. They are psychological frameworks, tools for navigation in a complex human landscape. By the end of this discussion, your perspective will be permanently altered. You will no longer gaze upon a powerful person and see an untouchable superior. You will see an intricate puzzle. And more importantly, you will recognize that you hold the key to solving it. But I must offer a warning. Once you learn to see the strings that move the world, you can never again comfortably go back to being the puppet. Most people fail in their ascent because they approach power with an open, empty hand, subtly begging for a scrap of favor. They believe connection is about being yourself. That is a dangerous illusion. Authenticity is a luxury afforded to those who have already secured their position. For those who are climbing, connection is an exercise in strategic adaptation. It is the art of becoming precisely what the other person needs to see, until you are so seamlessly embedded in the framework of their world that your presence becomes indispensable. This raises the essential question: how is this possible without the loss of your integrity? How can you navigate the perceptions of the elite without devolving into a mere sycophant? The answer lies in mastering a psychological concept known as the void. But to comprehend the void, you must first internalize the 13 laws. If this perspective is resonating with you, if you are beginning to see the outlines of a new understanding, then do not keep this to yourself. Share this video. The algorithms favor those who share, and by sharing, you bring others into this conversation. You build a community of strategic thinkers. Now let us delve into the first law. Law 1. Never outshine the master. The initial and most common error is the impulse to impress. You encounter someone influential, and your ego instinctively takes command. You want to demonstrate your intelligence, your capability, the breadth of your knowledge. You mistakenly believe this demonstration earns respect. In truth, it cultivates insecurity. It is a paradoxical reality that often, the most Capable presence. If you enter their orbit shining too brightly, you are not registering as an asset. You are perceived as a threat. Machiavelli warned of this centuries ago. It is always dangerous to appear better than your superiors. When you inadvertently make a superior look diminished by comparison, you trigger a primal survival instinct, not of the body, but of the ego. They will marginalize you, not necessarily because you are incompetent, but because your competence poses a danger to their foundational self-image. So what is the strategic alternative? You must learn to dim your light, to amplify theirs. Make them appear more brilliant. When you have a valuable idea, learn to frame it in a manner that allows it to be received as an extension of their own thought. Pose questions crafted to allow them to arrive at the answer you already possess. Feed their vanity deliberately. This is not an act of weakness. It is tactical camouflage. By enabling them to feel secure in their superiority, you lower their psychological defenses. You become categorized as safe. And once you are deemed safe, you are permitted inside the walls. While they are occupied admiring their own reflection in the mirror you hold, you are granted the vital opportunity to quietly observe. You learn their operational patterns, you identify their unspoken weaknesses, you map the terrain of their influence. You secure your position not with fanfare, but with silent observation. Let them claim the public glory. You will gradually accumulate the private influence. Before we proceed to the second law, take a moment. Internalize this. How often have you tried to win by being the smartest in the room? The cost of that strategy is now clear. If you are finding value in this recalibration, show it. Give this video a like. That simple act signals the algorithm that this content matters, helping others discover these principles. Now, let's continue. Law 2. Conceal your intentions. A person who is predictable is, by definition, controllable. If I can discern what you truly want, I immediately understand how to motivate you, how to use you, or how to deflect you. If I know you desire wealth, I can potentially purchase your loyalty. If I know you crave recognition, I can manipulate you with flattery. Most individuals wear their desires plainly on their faces. They approach a powerful person and their entire demeanor silently screams, "I need something from you." This aura of desperation is the ultimate repellent to genuine influence. To connect with power, you must become a cipher, an enigma. Machiavelli's adage, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer," contains a deeper kernel. Keep your intentions closer still. When you enter a room, cultivate unreadability. Do not reveal your endgame in the opening moves. Engage in conversations about everything except immediate business. Discuss art, philosophy, their personal hobbies, the subtleties of the wine you are drinking. Anything that builds a human connection first. Make them wonder about your purpose. Mystery is a potent form of attraction. When a powerful person cannot easily decipher what you want, they become intrigued. They may begin to project their own narratives onto you. They start the process of figuring you out. They initiate the chase to solve your puzzle. Never reveal your strategic cards until the pot is decisively yours. Be affable, be open, be charming, but keep the core engine of your ambition locked in a vault no one can access. The less others can discern your true motives, the greater your power in any eventual negotiation. Law 3. Appeal to self-interest, never to mercy or gratitude. This is the juncture where conventional, nice guys inevitably finish last. You require a favor, a mentor, an investment. The instinct is to approach a powerful figure and narrate your compelling story. You speak of your struggles, your dedication, your deservedness. You appeal to their mercy, their kindness, their sense of moral obligation. They may offer a sympathetic smile, a nod of understanding, but action will not follow. Why? Because appeals to mercy are experienced as a burden. Powerful individuals are perpetually besieged by petitioners. Their time and attention are their scarcest resources. If they acted on every worthy appeal to their better nature, they would be drained of resources and exhausted. Machiavelli's famous dictum, that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, finds a corollary here in the realm of connection. It is far more effective to be needed than merely liked. Therefore, do not ask for favors. Instead, propose transactions, but cloak the transaction in the language of strategic alliance. Your first mission is to discover what they need. Do they have a rival causing friction? A persistent problem consuming their energy? A vanity project that is floundering? Position yourself, not as a petitioner, but as the unique solution to their specific pain point. When you speak, the lexicon is not "I need." It is, "I see you are facing X. I have a method to address it that will save you time / increase your influence / secure your position." In an instant, you are transformed from a beggar at the gate to a potential partner at the table. Self-interest is the one dialect that is universally and fluently understood by those in power. Master this language, and you will find doors opening that were previously invisible. As we build this foundation of understanding, I must ask, are you committed to this journey? If so, your engagement is crucial. Comment below with the word leverage if you are beginning to see how these principles apply. This dialogue is part of the process. Now to the fourth law. Law 4, the art of strategic absence. We exist in a culture of pathological availability. You respond to messages instantly. You accept every meeting invitation. You are perpetually present and accessible. You believe this signals dedication and reliability. In the economy of perception, it often signals low value. A fundamental economic law applies to human dynamics. Scarcity creates value. If you are always available, you are common, and common things are not prized. Powerful people have a heightened, often acute, respect for time precisely because it is the one resource they cannot purchase more of. If you give your time away without any friction, you are implicitly communicating that your time, and by extension, you, are not valuable. Machiavelli observed that a prince who is seen too frequently becomes ordinary, familiar, and thus less authoritative. You must cultivate the discipline of strategic withdrawal. Be profoundly warm, focused, and engaged when you are physically or virtually present. Make the other person feel like the sole focus of your attention. And then, disappear. Do not answer the call on the first ring. Do not be available for a quick coffee tomorrow. You must have a life, a mission, a schedule that does not orbit their convenience. This calculated absence performs two critical functions. First, it provides demonstrable proof that you are a person of substance with other demands, other engagements, other sources of value. Second, it initiates the Zeigarnik effect. It creates an open loop in their mind. They begin to wonder where you are, what important matters you are handling, who else seeks your counsel. Your absence begins to occupy mental space. Consequently, when you do reappear, your presence is perceived as a valued commodity, not a guaranteed obligation. Use absence not as neglect, but as a tool to stoke the fires of respect. Law 5. Become the mirror of Narcissus. It is a foundational truth. Every person, including the most humble-seeming leader, is ultimately in love with their own self-concept. They possess a deep desire to feel understood. They crave validation of their worldview, their struggles, their genius. The common error is to attempt connection by broadcasting your own story. I did this, I think that. To the powerful, this is often just noise. To connect authentically with power, you must become a masterful mirror. Your role is to reflect their image back to them, but refined, enhanced, polished. This extends far beyond simple mimicry. It is about neurological and behavioral synchronization. If they are assertive and speak rapidly, subtly match their pace and posture. If they are deliberate and contemplative, you slow your own rhythm, adopt a more thoughtful demeanor. Match their vocabulary. If they employ military metaphors, you speak in terms of strategy and campaigns. If they use sports analogies, you frame your points within that arena. This process bypasses the critical, logical faculty of their brain and speaks directly to the subconscious, triggering a sense of familiarity and trust. The subconscious conclusion is, this person is like me. Therefore, they are safe. Therefore, they are intelligent. People do not fundamentally want to be challenged on a deep level. They want to be confirmed. Become the living confirmation of their brilliance. When they interact with you, they should encounter the most competent, understanding version of themselves. They will grow addicted to your presence because you provide a sense of being profoundly understood that is rare in their world of transactional relationships. We are covering significant ground here. If this mirror concept is shifting your perspective on past interactions, pause and share this video with one person who needs to hear it. Building a network of strategic thinkers starts with you. Now, let's explore the currency of the modern age. Law 6. Become the gatekeeper of critical information. In previous eras, power was derived from land, from armies, from gold. In our world, the paramount currency is information. But not just any information. It is curated, actionable, often secret intelligence. Powerful individuals frequently suffer from a paradox of isolation. They are surrounded by people, yet starved for unvarnished truth. They are insulated by layers of management, yes men, and polished reports, which often blinds them to ground-level realities, shifting sentiments, or quiet threats. If you can position yourself as a reliable source of valuable, unfiltered intelligence, you transition from being a contact to being an indispensable asset. You become their eyes and ears beyond the castle walls. This is not about petty gossip. It is about becoming an ethical, intellectual scout. I've analyzed the competitor's last move, and here's the pattern they're missing. There's an emerging shift in client sentiment that the standard reports aren't capturing. I've identified a potential vulnerability in the system that could be preemptively fortified. When you trade in high-value information, you elevate your status. You are no longer a supplicant. You are a co-conspirator in their success. And few bonds are stronger than those forged in shared, discreet understanding. A crucial warning accompanies this law. Never fully reveal your sources or methods. Maintain a degree of mystery around your intelligence-gathering apparatus. Your goal is to be the sole, reliable conduit for this category of insight. If they can obtain the same information easily without you, your leverage evaporates. Provide the invaluable fruit. Keep the roots of your tree hidden. Law 7. Cultivate the useful, shared enemy. Sociology identifies a potent force known as in-group/out-group bias. Nothing solidifies a bond between two people faster than a shared adversary, a common disdain, or a mutually held frustration. This principle is not about fostering petty hatred, but about strategically aligning with a powerful person's righteous indignation. If you wish to deepen a connection, diligently discover what they genuinely despise. Is it institutional inefficiency, creative mediocrity, a specific competitor's unethical tactics, a stagnant industry tradition? Once identified, you can carefully align yourself with that perspective. Validate their frustration with intelligent observation. You've mentioned the bottleneck in the approval process. Seeing it in action, I understand your frustration completely. It's stifling real progress. When you validate their enemy, you are, in effect, validating their struggle and, by extension, their role as a hero or reformer. You are communicating. I see the dragon you are fighting, and I am here not just to watch, but to hand you a better sword. It is critical to frame this not as cynical negativity, but as a shared commitment to a higher standard. This creates a powerful us-against-the-world dynamic. Within the imagined trenches of that shared struggle, profound loyalty and affinity are forged. Are you recognizing patterns from your own life? Is a previous interaction making new sense? Let me know in the comments. What is your biggest takeaway so far? This engagement fuels this channel's mission to disseminate this knowledge. Now, let's delve into the theater of power. Law 8. Play to their internal fantasy. Machiavelli understood that people are often governed not by the reality of who they are, but by the private fantasy of who they believe themselves to be, or who they aspire to be. The ruthless CEO may secretly see himself as a wise, benevolent patriarch. The brilliant but chaotic entrepreneur may envision herself as a disciplined visionary. The seasoned politician may cling to a self-image as a selfless public servant. Your strategic function is to identify this internal fantasy and expertly play the essential supporting role. If they need to be the respected sage, you become the earnest, gifted protege seeking their wisdom. If their fantasy is that of the rebellious iconoclast, you become the trusted accomplice who gets it. If they see themselves as a monarch of their domain, you adopt the role of the loyal, capable knight. Do not force them to confront the gaps between their fantasy and reality. Reality is often uncomfortable. That is partly why they have sought power, to shape reality to their will. If you become the person who consistently reflects back their idealized self-image, you become psychologically indispensable. You are a pillar of their self-concept. They will protect your presence because it protects their own cherished narrative. This is the essence of power as theater. To succeed, you must know your lines and perform your part with conviction, even if you are the only one aware of the script. Law 9. Master emotional alchemy. Individuals who hold significant power are almost invariably high-stress individuals. They bear the weight of vast responsibilities, of livelihoods, of colossal stakes. Their internal landscape can be a turbulent storm of anxiety, pressure, and isolation. Most people in their orbit inadvertently add to this storm. They bring more problems, more drama, more urgent demands. To become truly untouchable, you must become the antidote. You must be the emotional anchor. You must practice a form of emotional alchemy, the ability to absorb their chaotic energy and reflect back clarity, calm, and control. When they are frantic, you are deliberate. When they are angry, you are unshakably steady. Your mantra, demonstrated through action, is, "I understand the problem. Here is the solution. It is handled." The phrase, "it is handled," is one of the most psychologically seductive assurances you can offer a powerful person. You are not just solving a task, you are removing a weight from their psyche. You become a sanctuary of competence in a world of chaos. They will begin to crave interactions with you, not solely for business outcomes, but for the profound sense of relief and stability you provide. In a cacophonous world, be the silence. In a landscape of fires, be the water. If you can reliably lower their cortisol levels, you irrevocably raise your own value. We're building a toolkit for profound influence. If you are committed to mastering these laws, show your support. Subscribe if you haven't. Every subscription allows this channel to go deeper, to bring you more of this uncompromising analysis. Let's move to flexibility. Law 10. Assume formlessness. Machiavelli praised the fox for its cunning adaptability. Centuries later, Bruce Lee espoused, "Be water, my friend." The core principle is identical. Rigidity is a fatal vulnerability in the pursuit of power. You cannot approach influence with a brittle, fixed ego attached to a single identity. You must cultivate formlessness. This means you adapt your demeanor, your communication style, and even your apparent identity to the context and the person before you. Some situations demand assertive leadership, others require supportive deference. You may need to be a bold strategist in one meeting and a meticulous analyst in the next. Do not become attached to playing one single role. If you insist on a rigid authenticity, you will inevitably clash with those whose needs or styles do not align with your fixed mold. Formlessness is your ultimate defense. If you have no single, predictable shape, you cannot be easily countered or categorized. You can flow into any required space. Match the formality of their environment. Align with their cultural references. Remove all unnecessary friction from the interaction. The most effective agent is the one who can mirror the environment so perfectly that they are accepted without question, allowing them to operate with unseen influence. Law 11. Engineer dependence. This is the pinnacle of Machiavellian strategy in action. You must make yourself necessary. If you are replaceable by a random hire from a job board, your position is inherently precarious. True security is found in becoming woven into the very fabric of another's success or peace of mind. Your mission is to identify a critical function that they either dislike, neglect, or cannot perform as effectively, and then master it completely. Take sole, authoritative ownership of a key client relationship. Become the only person who fully understands a vital, complex system. Position yourself as the indispensable bridge between them and a resource they value, be it information, talent, or opportunity. A critical tactic within this law is to avoid teaching them how to do what you do. Maintain a degree of esoteric knowledge. The more they rely on you for a specific, crucial result, the more power you accrue. The modern myth of complete independence is just that, a myth in networked systems. The strategic goal is mutual, secure entanglement. You want to reach a point where the thought of your departure causes them genuine concern. Once you have planted that seed, "What would I do without this person?" you have achieved a formidable position. You are no longer a mere employee or contact. You have become an organ in their operational body. And one does not casually remove a vital organ. Law 12. Control the architecture of choices. The most influential person in any discussion is rarely the loudest. It is the one who, often quietly, designs the menu of options. When you present possibilities to a powerful person, offering infinite choice is a strategic error. It induces decision fatigue and paralysis. Instead, you must master the art of curating the options. Your role is to do the rigorous thinking beforehand, and then present a limited set of pathways, typically 2 or 3. Crucially, you frame these options in a way that makes your preferred choice appear as the most logical, efficient, or low-risk alternative. You might say, based on the data, we have 3 viable paths. Option A carries higher short-term cost, but establishes a long-term advantage. Option B is the safe, consensus choice, but offers minimal growth. Option C is the aggressive play with the highest potential return, aligning with your vision for expansion. My analysis recommends option C. What is your directive? In this framework, you have done the heavy cognitive labor. They are presented with a clear, reasoned recommendation within a bounded set of choices. They feel the sovereignty of making the final call, but you have architecturally guided the decision toward a specific destination. Machiavelli understood that a wise leader focuses on what he can control. By controlling the framework of the discussion, you exert immense influence over the outcome without ever appearing to dictate terms. We are approaching the final, most transformative law. But first, if this content is equipping you with a new lens on the world, do not let the algorithm hide it. Like, share, and comment. This is how we push back against superficiality and build a community dedicated to strategic depth. Now, to the paradox that empowers all the others. Law 13. Cultivate radical autonomy. Here lies the profound paradox. To genuinely connect with powerful people, you must reach a state where you do not need them. If your sense of worth, your survival, your future is psychologically tethered to their approval or endorsement, they will sense it. They will detect the subtle scent of hunger, of neediness, and they will instinctively categorize you as a fan, a follower, a dependent, not a peer or a potential partner. True power recognizes and respects true power. Therefore, you must cultivate a profound sense of radical autonomy. You must build your own kingdom, however modest it may start. You need your own code of conduct, your own independent projects, your own source of confidence and validation that is internally generated. You must nurture the genuine, unwavering willingness to walk away from any deal, any alliance, that requires you to sacrifice your core sovereignty. When you sit across from someone of immense influence, this inner autonomy fundamentally alters the energy of the interaction. Your voice carries a different timbre. Your eye contact is steady, not searching. Your posture is relaxed, not eager. You are not there to take. You are there to trade, to explore potential synergies between two sovereign entities. This solidity is magnetic. Powerful individuals are often surrounded by people who bend and contort to their will. Encountering someone who is respectful but not subservient, who is interested but not indebted, is a rare and captivating experience. Be the rock in their shifting sea. Connect from a place of authentic wholeness, not from a place of perceived lack. This is the foundation upon which all other laws find their ethical and effective expression. Let us pause. Let these 13 laws settle into your consciousness. I anticipate the reaction. This sounds cold. It sounds calculating. It seems, on its surface, manipulative. And you are not wrong. It is. But now, I urge you to perform a clear-eyed audit of the world you inhabit. Examine the structures of the corporation you work for, the institutions that govern society, the dynamics of any industry. Do you believe these edifices were constructed on a foundation of hugs, unconditional positive regard, and transparent fairness? Or were they forged through strategy, through the application of leverage, through a deep, if often unspoken, understanding of the drivers of human nature, fear, self-interest, and vanity? You are now presented with a choice. You can cling to a comfortable innocence. You can uphold the belief that the world should operate on the principles you find most agreeable and lament that it does not. You can remain in the passenger seat, commenting on the driver's choices. Or, you can decide to comprehend the machine. You can choose to study its gears and levers. You can move to the driver's seat. Machiavelli was not evil. He was a realist of the highest order. He gazed unflinchingly into the abyss of human behavior and reported what he saw, without sentimental decoration. He documented that we are driven by primal forces. To understand and apply these laws is not inherently to abuse others. It is to understand them, their fears, their desires, their egos, with a clarity that perhaps they themselves lack. It is to communicate not only with the curated mask they present to the world, but also with the shadow of motivations that lurk beneath. When you apply these principles, the entire dynamic of power shifts. You are no longer a subject pleading at the throne. You become a diplomat from your own sovereign nation, engaging in treaties of mutual benefit. You gain the agency to shape your own trajectory. This is just the beginning. The void, the central concept that binds these laws into a coherent philosophy, awaits deeper exploration. To master the void is to master the psychology of strategic influence at its deepest level. If you are ready for that next level of understanding, if you are committed to moving from theory to integrated practice, then your engagement is vital. Subscribe to this channel.